Okay, fine. So let's move to the next thing. Okay, fine. Fine. We have seen earlier that yes, it's not only about class when we talk about Java. So what does a Java file have? Class. It can have interface. Fine. It can have interface. It can have, yeah. It can have record also, right? Fine. Enum, record, annotation, right? 5 things. Okay. Now, what is a record? Let's look at that also. Fine. Have a quick look at record. Okay. And so, yeah, what is a record? So for that, let me just define a record. Okay. I'll just quickly define a record, and I'll define a record for the rectangle type. Okay. Now, we have written so much of code for the rectangle as a class. And if we make rectangle as a record, of course, there are a few things we'll have to compromise upon. Okay. One thing which has, yeah, there's only one thing rather, which you have to look at here is record is going to be immutable. In rectangle class, we have a method called set dimensions, right? Which is allowing you to change the length and width. Once a rectangle is created, still later we can change length and width. Okay, fine. But if we put rectangle as a record type, okay, then the length and width will not be modifiable. Those instance variables are final. The instance variables are always going to be final. When you define a record, okay, you don't actually declare the instance variables. And inside the body of the record, you're not allowed to put any instance variables. Record have a parameter list. It's the parameter list which decides a lot of things for us. Okay, so simple thing, you can simply have a record being defined for rectangle class like this. Okay, let me show it here. Okay. So yeah, I want to define a rectangle as a record type. Yes, I can just say, okay, whatever the package may be, I'll now put it like this. We have a public record. So I use the word record and then say rectangle. Okay. When we define a record, we can always give it after following the name of the record type, you are supposed to give a parameter list. This is known as a parameter list for the record. So our parameter list here will be saying int length, comma, int width. Okay. Okay. And start braces. And suppose I don't do anything else. Okay. Because I have mentioned it as a record, there are a lot of things which happen for me. Record rectangle here becomes a data type. You have specified two parameters. Their names are length and width. Okay. So this gets two private instance variables by the same name as the parameter name. It gets a constructor with these parameters. Automatically, a public constructor is available. It automatically has the appropriate equals method, hash code method, and the toString method. It gets all of those things. This is the simple definition I have. And I get all of these things. I don't need a constructor now. I don't need to add a constructor in the body. Oh, there is a public constructor with two parameters. Okay, and okay, and of course for getting, you want the methods to fetch the values because those variables are private, right? Fine. So you also get, so what are the things we get? The private variables length and width. But once the object is, how do I create an object? I should be able to do. So in a test rectangle, or even within this, by putting a static method, you should now be able to say rectangle. Let's say I'll declare R1, R2 as two rectangle types. Okay. And then I'll say R1 equals new rectangle. Okay, so you can create a rectangle of 7 by 5. Fine. So that's available. Fine. There's no code written for in the body of the rectangle record. Okay, simply because it's a record and I've mentioned those two parameters. Yes, that's how you should be creating the object. You should be getting, so this is creating object. You want to know, you want to print the system.out.println. You can say R1 dot length as a method. You get method by the same name as the parameter name to fetch the value. Okay, length, width, those are methods for me. Okay, equals, yes, you try another R2 equals new rectangle with the same dimensions and try whether they are equal or not. What do you expect? They should be equal or not? You get the correct equals method. Equals method implementation is also done. Right? Hash code. Yeah. If there are two rectangle records, fine. Objects of the rectangle. Yeah. Their hash code. If they are equal, hash code will also be equal. Fine. ToString. Oh, toString is toString would say, okay, it will say rectangle and then it will say length equal to this, comma width equal to this. Yes, it mentions the attribute names. Okay, the default toString which is there. Fine. But yeah, you are free to override them. Anyway, these methods in the body, what you can do is you can override the toString method if you want. This is like a class definition only. You would not be able to specify new instance variables. Whatever you have to mention them in the parameters and they will be final. So within this, yes, you may be writing methods, you may be even specifying a constructor. And you can write your constructors also. Fine. But you have one constructor with two parameters. So you may be just calling this, fine, taking some other parameter. Yes, you can add a constructor, but constructor with two parameters there. Okay. Fine. So that's a record. Fine. Record simplifies, but provided you have something which is immutable. Fine. Okay. There are many things which are coming up with the record. Fine. It is called deconstructor pattern. And I'll not talk about it here at this moment, but yes, it is. It's a good. Records have a good use of them, and there's a lot of good use of record. Now, what you could do is you could have a record for rectangle, and then you could create a record for cuboid, which is with composition. See, this, if this is a record, I can have another public record. So I have a public record for the cuboid which uses composition, and it will be something like this. Parameters, you could say, I would like to have a rectangle. Okay, rectangle which is actually also a record, right? And I can say, oh, I have a rectangle R and in height. Fine. And then, of course, you want to provide a constructor. Fine. If you want to provide a constructor with 3 parameters, you can add that. You have constructor with 2 parameters. Okay. One is rectangle, other is height. You may have a constructor which takes length, width, and height. Okay. Fine. Fine. Clear. Record will help you to. Okay. So implementation of the methods of object class. Fine. Those 3 methods, they are having an implementation. So most commonly, those 3 methods are the ones from the object class which are to be overridden, and record is doing it for us. Okay. So record was introduced in Java 16. Okay, so from Java 16, yes, we use the record. And so any questions? Yeah. Because our next topic, not today, but our next topic is going to be on abstract classes and interfaces.